You know how the moon looks different during different times of the month? Those are called the phases of the moon. The moon rotates around the Earth like we rotate around the sun. The phases depend on how much of the sunlit side faces Earth. You've probably done a diorama like this in school. You know how the moon looks different during different times of the month? Those are called the phases of the moon. The moon rotates around the Earth like we rotate around the sun. The phases depend on how much of the sunlit side faces Earth. You've probably done a diorama like this in school. This is inaccurate. If you could look at all the phases from space, they would look the same, like this.
You know where he normally picks us up?
It's because of our position on Earth that causes us to see them differently.
When the moon is here, we don't see the moon because of all the sunlight sides faces away from Earth. A few days later, the moon would make it to the waxing crescent stage. We barely see anything in the waxing crescent stage because most of the sunlight is not facing towards us. Then days pass, and you notice the moon's phases has changed again. The phase you see is the first quarter, where you see only half of the sunlight side of the moon on Earth. Next comes the waxing gibbous. Most of the moon is lit, and only a small portion is not visible. The most visible phase of the moon is the full moon, here, which comes after the waxing gibbous. From Earth you see the whole moon lit up. After the phase, the moon starts to wane or go away. First comes the waning gibbous. We see almost all of the moon again, but the portion we don't see is now on the other side of the moon. And next comes the third quarter and waning crescent. Then it starts all over again with the new moon. When the moon is here, we don't see the moon because of the sunlight side faces away from Earth. A few days later, the moon would make it to the waxing crescent stage. We barely see anything in the waxing crescent stage because most of the sunlight side is not facing towards us. Then days pass, and you notice the moon's phases have changed again. The phase you see is the first quarter, where you see only half of the sunlight side of the moon because the moon on Earth. Next comes the waxing gibbous. Most of the moon is lit up and only a small portion is not visible. The most visible phase of the moon is the full moon, here, which comes after the waxing gibbous. From Earth you see the whole moon lit up. After the phase, the moon starts to wane or go away. First comes the waning gibbous. We see almost all of the moon again, but the portion we don't see is now on the other side of the moon. And next comes the third quarter and the waning crescent. And then it starts all over again with the new moon. Done.
From summer to fall to winter to spring and back over again. Why does it happen? You know how globes are on a tilt? It's no accident the Earth is actually on a 23.5 degree tilt from vertical. This point that it rotates on is called its axis. As the Earth rotates around the sun, its axis does not change angles. So at one point, the northern hemisphere where we live is tilted towards the sun. This is when we have summer. But as we're tilted towards the sun, the southern hemisphere is tilted away from it, giving them winter. Yep, that's right. We have summer when they have winter. On a calendar, it probably says the first day of summer is June 21st. This is when the northern hemisphere is most tilted towards the sun, receiving the most sunlight, giving us the longest day of the year. This is called the June solstice. Next comes fall. The autumnal equinox is just a big fancy word for saying the Earth is not tilted towards or away from the sun. Then winter. During winter, the northern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun. The southern is tilted towards it. They have summer when we have winter. Like summer, there is also a solstice. This one is called the winter solstice. This is our shortest day. We are tilted the farthest away from the sun.
As Earth revolves around the sun, it also rotates on its axis. This is why we have night and day. See, the sun doesn't really move. Let us explain.
Let's say we're here in Chicago. It's probably noon right now because we're receiving the most sunlight possible. In China, it's night. As the day goes on, we start turning like this. Now it's sunset because we are slowly turning away from the sun. In China, it's almost sunrise. And now it's night. We are completely turned from the sun. In China, it's day.
This process continues on and 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 on.
Until it makes a year. Year is how long it takes for the Earth to complete a full revolution around the sun. Does it all make sense now? The Earth rotates on itself while revolving around the sun. Seasons are caused by the Earth's tilt towards, away, or equal with the sun. The phases of the moon have to do with the alignment of the sun, moon, and Earth. Hope you understand better now. Until next time. Welcome to our science show.
I'm sorry. I was.
Everything was good, but then you started talking.
Bluebird, start again. Start again.
Okay.
Go.
Welcome to our science show. Ba-da-ba-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba. Solstice. This is our shortest day. We are tilted away. No, we're blah, blah, blah. I messed up. Earth is not tilted towards or away from the sun. Then winter.
No.
Normally picks us up, picks you up.
It's because of our position on Earth that causes. Oh my God!